Fellow internet fiends, about time for an update, isn't it? I've been slowly puttering away on my little micro nano shelter house design thing. Backwards and forwards. The weather has begun to improve a little bit of late, so it's a little bit warmer. It's still taking between a day and 2 days to dry any layers of fiberglass and glue that I do. So things we've learned so far: don't do fiberglass with anything but epoxy. The epoxy is a lot tackier and easier to stick fiberglass down with, so especially when you're going around the corners of edges like this and stuff. It'll work better most likely than it did for me with the glue. Don't do this kind of stuff in cold temperatures. It's a pain in the ass. Gave it a shot, not worth it. So as you can see, we've done a really in by my standards fucking messy job. Lots of little tab pieces of fiberglass because we managed to get the glue to hold them down and stuff, and figure out ways to get it to work. I've now run out of glue, so I'll have to go buy some more. But for that, we got all of our edges done, our windows frames sort of glassed in. As you can see, the glass overlapping the frame edge there. That all gets painted later. All of our corners and joins and things like that have all had multiple layers of fiberglassy stuff chucked into them with the glue sticking them down as opposed to the usual epoxy. And around the back here, we've fiberglassed that entire wall, and all along the sort of this side wall. This is the the wall that doesn't have a door in it. Original design, the idea was to face this unit north along this axis, so that would have made this the westerly side, and the door side the easterly side. But I've also figured out that I can face it along west, facing along that same axis there, which would make that wall I just showed you the southerly side. Again, doesn't have the door in it, so that's all good. Southerly's where all the nasty weather comes from. Anyway, in between making a mess and dropping crap everywhere, we still haven't painted the interior. I have the materials to do that, so we'll probably get around to that as our next project. Which is just a case of a little bit of filling. There's a bloody drip. There is a leak coming through my polystyrene. I wonder where that's coming from. Got some standing water on the roof here. Well, now we know how long it takes for stuff to leak through the cracks in the polystyrene when you haven't got it sealed up, because the roof hasn't been glassed yet. So we'll just give that a mop up, get that all sorted out. So yeah, anyway, we'll get that all painted and sorted out and sealed up and stuff, and then later in the week, when I've got some time, weather and my actual work allowing, I'll go into town and get some more glue and finish up all the fiberglassing and stuff, and then we can start looking at doing things like hanging the door. Although I've got the frame edges in and stuff, so I could probably start working on hanging the door now, or at least do a temporary version of it. I'm still working on designs for exactly how I want that to work. The original idea was just a simple fabric hinge type system with a hatch that just sort of comes out and up, creating eaves. I drew a little sketch design the other night for actually sealing this whole section up and redoing it with a circular door hole and a rolling door frame, door panel that rolls across the side. And there's a few other ideas I could play with. So yeah, we're still thinking on that one. This is the kind of cool bit about this project. I'll just sort of putter away when I've got time and ideas, and I can be stuffed. It's sort of more of a hobby than a get her done now kind of thing. Currently where I'm staying, things are working out reasonably well. I don't feel like I'm going to have to move suddenly anytime soon, so I'm in no huge rush to complete the project, but we are sort of getting through it piece by piece. Anyway, what we've learned so far: the idea with picture frame windows works quite well. I've just got them tabbed in place at the moment. Once I've completed the internal painting, I will silicone the backs of them into place and stuff, but again, if I wanted to remove them for replacement, you just peel the silicone back out and put a new window in and then silicone it up again. So pretty easy to do, quite a workable system. Haven't tested it on full-on outdoors wind blowing sort of weather yet. That'll come later, but for now it seems to work quite well. The idea of putting fiberglass on using glue is possible, but works best on flat sheets, and yeah, sure, it's like 90 or 80% cheaper than using the epoxy that I would otherwise have to buy, or at least, no, it's more like 90% cheaper, but yeah, it's not as effective. The result though does, I've had some sample pieces I had to fiddle with and stuff, gives you a kind of a semi-flexible glass reinforced rubbery plasticky kind of a surface, which is pretty cool. It's just getting the glass to go around these corners and not lift like it has here and stuff like that that's really annoying. But if you were going to do something like this, your cheapest option actually is just to paint the entire polystyrene structure with just 2 or 3 layers of really thick glue, you know, a PVA or any sort of thing, and then paint that with lots of layers of paint. The only advantage of what I've got here is that it's got some, I'm going to have to do that anyway, but it's got some, you know, fiberglass built into that layer system there, so that's going to make it just a little bit stronger. I think honestly that I would have been much better off to go with plan A and just use bed sheets, because the flexibility of cotton would have allowed me to go around these corners much easier, and it would have just draped when wet, let alone when glued. So it would have been quite easy to sort of stick it all down and make a much neater result than what I've done. But honestly, I don't really care if this thing looks like a crazy patchwork quilt when it's done. It's going to be sprayed matte black after multiple layers of sealing paint and things like that, and then after that, anything that's going to be visible to the naked eye will be probably sprayed with camouflage paint systems, because I'm very much looking at, currently most likely option for a longer term site for this will be a bushland environment. I've begun doing reconnaissance on various areas nearby me using the GPS and the satellites, because it's 2019 and that's how you do your initial recon. You don't go walking over there. Good lord, no, that would be effort. So I've spent a lot of time zoomed in on Google Maps, checking out my local environment, and figuring out, I've got a very specific list of what I would like a site to do for me, what it needs to face like, where it needs sun at what times during the day, and a lot of things like that. So I've figured out and narrowed down quite a few bits that I will now actually manually go and check out and go walking to over the next few weeks and check out. And yeah, obviously we need to, once this thing's got wheels on it, we need to be able to hand roll it into the site, or get it very close to the site by hand rolling and then carry it the rest of the way or whatever. So yeah, it's a bit of a fiddle, but that's why we're building this one the way we are. There are a lot of decisions I've made here that aren't exactly the most functional for your normal way of doing things, but for what I intend to do most likely, which as I said is go live in the bush with this thing, it'll work quite well. So yeah, anyway, that's, you know, ways in the future. Remains to be seen how all those plans pan out. For now though, that's what we've got done, and there's your update pretty much complete. Let me think, is there anything else I need to talk about? Nope, that's it. So yeah, short version, don't use fiberglass, use cotton if you're going to do the PVA thing. If you're going to use fiberglass, then do it properly with epoxy, and do it in weather where that's conducive and doable. And the picture frame windows thing does work quite well, so yeah, that.